Welcome to the Great Wrestling Debate, everybody. This is the October 8th edition of the Great Wrestling Debate, coming off of Battleground and Raw. And I don't know about you, but the past couple nights, I'm just kind of underwhelmed about what's
Wow.
Battleground.
I see
getting
WWE learned from that whole Night of Champions refund debacle and said, no, you want to get a refund from that pay-per-view. No, we got another way to maybe piss you off even more.
Yeah.
I mean,
the way I look at it, Battleground was not worth adding in to me. I mean, you got the 3 week, you had the 3 weeks between Night of Champions,
definitely,
and then now the 3 weeks between Hell in a Cell.
That's
nothing from this pay-per-view.
Yes, that's the one. There's that whole condensing.
To me, they could have just done with that. I mean, going from top to bottom. The pre-show, as far as the events go of this pay-per-view, because I said
Ziggler was going to win because
we said
the big winner.
The only match, the only match that I truly didn't, get right was the CM Punk and Ryback match. I looked down the card. Of course, he had the screwy finish which I'm sure might have ticked a lot of people off because there's, and it just goes to show you this pay-per-view for the most part was just to, build for Hell in a Cell essentially. Well, that whole
even
match.
The Solid Monster said it, like he usually orders every pay-per-view too because that's his job. Usually, his podcast is he reviews professional wrestling. WWE, TNA. Even NXT now. And he pretty much said he's not ordering it because this is just a cash grab.
And me,
the only point to this pay-per-view was just to lead up to Hell in a Cell. Really, there was no point to this pay-per-view.
There was nothing innovative that we've suggested that other talkers have suggested online. People were suggesting ideas from WCW and this and that, and none of that really happened. It was just it was matches, a bunch of matches, and then a few of them on the next night of Raw ended up just being rematches again, and
that's the thing too. When I heard the Antonio Cesaro giant swing, which by the way, I am so glad that he's using this move.
Oh yeah,
he used it in the Ring of Honor.
That was maybe the highlight of the pay-per-view from what I've been hearing, from what I heard.
Yeah, the fact that he picked it. They're on
the great call spinning.
It really should surprise people because with his old finisher, he picked up the Kali no problem.
Oh, yeah.
Cesaro is a strong guy.
Yeah, pound for pound, very strong, definitely.
But his giant swing, that was his finisher, or I wouldn't even say finisher. It was like his setup move in Ring of Honor. There's even a video I looked up where he does a Ring of Honor. He swings, he does a giant swing. And it's like a small wrestler. And actually, Brian Danielson's in the video. He's actually partnering with Cesaro, who I think his Ring of Honor or any name was Claudio Castaneves, I think was his name.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I'm butchering his name there, but yeah, he goes up there and you see Brian and they're counting along the giant swings. The guy gets 100 giant swings, and the sewing, or maybe not even sewing, he's like dizzy like the other guy is pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but to see him do it to the Kali, I think was very impressive. Yeah. But then the next night of
Raw, it's like I see it and it's like, oh yeah, see, I didn't have to buy the pay-per-view to see it, and then. It was like deja vu. He pinned him right after the move. It was like this.
Don't get me wrong. To me, this sounds like a babyface. This is why I think Cesaro could be a babyface. Look,
people like what he does in the ring.
He's a strong guy. He's got impressive feats of strength, and maybe it's shocking to people now because really up to this point, the only people thought had any real strength at this point was John Cena, maybe Mark Henry, and Ryback. And here's this new guy that isn't Well,
he's not quite as.
Yeah, he's not as big.
Yet he's doing some freakish things.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing some freakish things. Very easily, almost like how Cena and that used to do it.
Beast mode. Yeah, he's doing some beast mode things.
So for me, Cesaro, I think, is leading up for a face turn. Yeah. Which to me is fine.
Because they haven't done anything important with him lately.
The Real Americans, to me, gimmick hasn't gone anywhere. It just.
Might as well. If they turned him face, they get some people putting their hand on their heart and saying "We the people."
Well, that's the thing too. To me, if he turns face there, that could be the gimmick there, where he screws a match and Colder being the racist that he is or that gets in this Swiss's face and everything and says, "You're not even American, you're Swiss," and blah.
That could be good stuff.
And Cesaro gets pissed off, and beats the hell out of the real American in that.
Yeah.
I mean, and starts becoming a hero of the Swiss
Right.
country. I mean,
Yeah.
because who doesn't love Switzerland? It's a
Right.
small country, but a nice place. They really don't have a military because of the strong neutrality beliefs, and
Yeah.
hell, it's where the Nobel Peace Prize award
Yeah.
gets handed out every year. So
Yeah.
it's a very oppressive country.
Yeah.
Like I said, and he is Swiss. I mean, Cesaro
Yeah.
is he's been living in the United States for a while now because this is where you want to be a professional wrestler. But no, but and add that too. I mean, how many European baby faces are they lacking right now?
Yeah.
I mean, especially with Sheamus out. Especially with Sheamus out.
I suggested Wade Barrett they could turn him face, at some point. I mean, they could definitely use that. And then going back to Battleground, there were maybe like another 3 matches in this pay-per-view where like they just threw him on the card suddenly, it seemed.
Kofi Kingston, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah, like I said, that tag team match, that seemed like it was just thrown on there with Khali and.
Oh, okay.
Khali. Not the Rhodes and
the best match of the night.
Most people consider.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, we knew.
First of all, the Shield have delivered almost every single match they've been in. Let's not.
They deliver all. Yeah, without question.
To me, I don't remember one boring match
with the Shield.
Except maybe some Dean Ambrose one-on-one match, but to me, I blame it more on maybe his style. I haven't got used to yet.
Yeah,
and then just the fact that we were so used to these guys teaming up on a regular basis. So we have one of these guys to go in and do a match solo.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a tag team wrestler and a solo wrestler.
Right.
Tag team, you're wrestling on the corner. You don't need to do all the work. You actually can go 50-50 and still have a good match. In singles, you got to kind of go 100%. I mean, you can't slag off. There's no rest. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of, except for maybe a few rest holds. There's no like break on the corner or anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me the match was good. I mean, obviously Goldust. I like the new face paint he has.
Yeah.
He looks way more intimidating than he did even back during the Attitude Era. And Cody Rhodes is like $1 million right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing how this guy was a laughingstock only a couple months ago, and now a quick shave, a few serious promos, and a very competitive match. He gets a main event superstar. Next,
gets fired and then comes back.
Exactly,
yeah.
And next, you're being taken serious now.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going.
That's the big thing. I've heard being able to take somebody seriously.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, I mean, I think people have been taking Cody more seriously than Daniel Bryan based on how he's been treated compared to Daniel Bryan's been treated on this feud.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan's still got the beard,
Well,
speaking of beard, that's like something.
Beard, Tenzai now I think has found his calling. If he ever decides to pick up the boots, I don't know if you saw the pre-show.
No,
but it was him, Miz. Who was it? It was Miz. It was Tenzai. I forget who the other guy was there, but I think it might have been Titus O'Neil, maybe. Who once again, I think is another guy that I think if wrestling doesn't work out, could be an excellent backstage guy.
Yeah,
because he does have like he has his presence on the microphone. Tenzai surprised me because all the gimmicks we've seen him in the past.
Right.
Just he's wearing a normal suit, normal this. But when he makes the Daniel Bryan Randy Orton pick, he does a Lee Corso and he puts a fake beard on. And he goes Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And even Titus O'Neil goes, oh, that's Lee Corso right here.
Yeah.
And for me, to me, it's Tenzai's credit because I doubt anybody told him to do that. Right. To me, I think this was his moment to say, I got to be on television somehow.
Yeah.
Or at least on a laptop, which I think still is a form of television in this day of age.
Yeah. But
no, I mean, looking at the pay-per-view, I mean, besides that match, I mean, the main event, I knew there was going to be a Screwy's finish.
Yeah, we all knew. But we didn't know that there was not going to be a champion.
Well, no, because I figured that too, but I figured they could have come a better finish than this. I would have accepted maybe a double count-out.
Yeah.
I'd have accepted the fact that maybe Bryan, does something crazy, like he has Orton on a table, as payback for Monday. That's like a dive for the table.
Yeah.
They both get hurt and they can't make the 10 count, and that's how the pay-per-view ends.
Yeah.
I mean, because Triple H and Stephanie supposedly were not there, so there's no way of. But you have Big Show come out with Brad Maddox of all people too. He comes in, he punches Daniel Bryan, which is fine. That's how he wanted the match to end. That was fine. That still sets a way for Bryan to come in to Hell in a Cell. That
yeah.
Fans start booing, and all of a sudden after this happens, Big Show gains consciousness, I guess, magically, and punches referee Armstrong, the returning Armstrong, I might add you. And then Brad Max's dumbfounded look on his face, like, what the hell's just happened? Then Orton coming in, telling him to get on his face, telling Big Show, you're going to be fired, you're going to be fired, you can't do... And Big Show then just punching him. And the fact that people ended with the Big Show theme playing.
Yeah.
A guy who wasn't even featured in the main event. And, I mean, I don't know, just the fact that was the end of a match, pretty much. But to me, it had no finish, really. There was
one of those...
No bell rang.
One of those bell ring... Yeah, no non-bell rung match, ends. And,
which, to me, you go to the bell. If the bell rings, then... But no bell was rung, because no official was out there. I mean, to me, the match could have still kept going.
Yeah.
But... Because you still would have the screwy finish. I mean, hell, if Brian wins, they could say, well, Big Show screwed Randy Orton here, and Hell in a Cell to prevent interference in that. And that's what's still going with. Hell in a Cell is going to happen because of interference. Although the Shawn Michaels guest referee, Shawn Michaels guest referee thing that does intrigue me though a bit as far as a possible screw job or even because there is history with Michaels and the people involved in this match, and in fact, I'm actually kind of glad he was the third guy because after watching Booker T and then Bob Backlund of all people being as the options, although poor Booker T, Bob Backlund beats Booker T in the polls.
Booker T had what, like 3%, 6% of the vote?
No, I think it was like 16. I think it was like 16% for him. Like,
so I remember it was like 60.
It was like 30. It was 30.
It was like 33, 61 maybe, and I don't know.
Backlund had like half of what Shawn had. And the rest went the Booker T pretty much.
Yeah.
Which was still double digits, but it was laughable.
Yeah, it was maybe like 10 per. Yeah,
I mean, but when Shawn came out, I'm like, okay, well at least there's somebody here that made. Because I was thinking, oh, Mick Foley. I mean, Hell in a Cell for crying out loud, people. This guy. I mean, he doesn't need to take a stunt either. I mean, I get it. I know what he said. He says he's old. He's not doing a match. When asking to match, he's just refereeing.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to take a spot. I mean, it's PG. There's no more dropping from cells anymore.
Right.
I mean, the cell
through the announce
there's
table.
no blood or anything.
Oh my God!
So to me, there's no bump scenes to worry about. But there was no Mick Foley. I don't know why I said this because we haven't really seen him almost. It feels like almost a year now. But no Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Which I think really, if that would have came out, I think it would have been shocked. I mean, and no offense, I would have even preferred maybe JBL being a referee at this point here. I mean, or even Jerry Law. I mean, they are Hall of Famers, both of them.
Yeah.
Well, I should say, JBL's not a Hall of Fame, but he will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's gonna happen when there's a down year because at this point it sounds like it's DX or the Ultimate Warrior going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like those seem to be the favorites right now, but I do think JBL will be in the Hall of Fame in the future,
eventually,
especially since Ron Simmons is in.
Yeah,
and no offense to Ron Simmons, I think JBL has had a more at least WWE accomplished career than he has.
Right.
Ron Simmons can easily say he was a world champion, but so can JBL.
Yeah, but I mean that whole thing led into Monday Night Raw with Big Show then getting fired by Stephanie McMahon
and not caring. Finally, he just doesn't give it to
it was kind of cool because the thing is here, and then the end later on. I mean, this sets up maybe Big Show against Triple H down the road.
Well, that's supposedly the whole idea in the beginning here, but now I'm starting. I mean,
it's we'll see which direction they go there, and with Shawn Michaels now being the referee, I mean, you'd think that there's gonna be some kind of confrontation coming up.
Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Well, none of that. Like I said, Shawn Michaels quote unquote taught Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
That
could be interesting.
Technically, Regal taught him, but it wasn't the Shawn Michaels wrestling school he trained at. So I mean, and obviously Randy Orton has history with Michael. I mean, there's definitely some intrigue there. But I mean, then I guess we go to the second match that got announced.
I mean, I just want to say like Raw, like the end in the beginning to me was like kind of all that I really enjoy. Everything in between.
Well, my problem was that I would have preferred if, again, it's Big Show, he's a giant in that, but the fact that he just pushed all three members of the Shield out of the ring like they were nothing.
They all like kind of rolled.
I would have preferred if like Rhodes, Goldust, and Bryan, who, based on my knowledge, was still outside the ring.
Yeah, maybe they kind of knocked brawled those guys out.
Exactly, they brought the Shield.
Yeah, that could have been.
Triple H is alone in the ring with Big Show.
That could have been done.
To me, and then Big Show just does like a lot of you're not touching me, and then Big Show just like shrugging off and then just punching
That
him.
could have been, yeah.
I mean, to me, it could have been done better.
Yeah, it could have been done a little differently.
I mean, because to be fair, I know he's a giant, but he's also one of the oldest guys in the active roster right now.
Yeah.
To me, he's good. You know, there's only so much you can do with a giant when he starts getting old.
Yeah. Then that, and then, like, you know, Triple H was kind of laying there, and nobody, like, you know, you'd think some people would come out to, you know, get him up. And then
Daniel Bryan making sure he was okay. I mean, straining his tie out.
You think somebody would, like, somebody else would, you know. But I mean, still, it was a decent ending.
But I guess, you know, the return of a superstar coming back in a span of 2 months.
Yeah.
I believe it was 2 months. I mean, he was it? It was like late August. He said he was going for
SummerSlam. Yeah, the night after SummerSlam.
It's late August, so it's 2 months, pretty much.
Yeah, late August.
Coming up from a guy who said it was going to be 4 to 6 months. 4 to 6 months.
Yeah,
that's what Cena said on the mic. 4 to 6 months. Now, understand he said surgery and he's gone for rehab, and rehab, suppose he's gone wide.
Yeah.
Fine. Like I said earlier, I don't know where 4 to 6 months came through, because originally it was going to be like around 2 months.
Yeah.
I told Tyler this year. I thought they would still, at least now it's the 4 month thing, which was that this injury isn't serious here, but this is just so Cena can get recuperated physically and mentally. And also maybe a chance to expand, give some other people a chance here.
Yeah, like with SmackDown.
And the locker room in that.
Yeah.
But like I told Tyler, if the ratings decline, and by all means, it gets Monday Night Football, they will decline. Yeah. It's not a matter of if anymore. It will happen now. Yeah. I think WWE has to just acknowledge that. Is that back in the day you could compete with Monday Night Football because you actually had an audience section that watched Monday Night Football now.
Yeah.
And now you might still do, but they might actually prefer watching Monday Night Football now, depending on the matchup, than watching Monday Night Football.
Yeah, at times last night I felt like rather watching Monday Night Football.
Especially if it was a close game. The fact that they drew the lowest rating in 15 years, despite it being a very lopsided New Orleans-Miami game.
Yeah, the week before.
Is very surprising even for me, because you would have thought they would have turned off the game and maybe switched towards the closing hours back to Raw. But I even told this earlier, Tyler, because it's about ratings of Raw, pretty much. Yeah. Even though they're still the second most cable watched program behind Monday Night Football, and I would say third most because I think now Major League Baseball is going to pass them with the playoffs coming up. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to me, I wouldn't be so excited a failure because you're still doing better than any other cable programs at that time slot.
Yeah.
But still, the ratings were going down. It was the lowest in 15 years. And like I said earlier, if the ratings are down, Cena's going to come back fast.
Yeah.
I didn't think this fast. I thought they was going to give him 4 months.
Yeah.
But it's 2 months.
They announced this, and it's not even 2 months. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be 2 months by
Hell in a Cell. It will be.
Because to me, he's not going to show up on television until Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
That's when they're going to plug Hell in a Cell. It's the return of John Cena. But I mean,
you know, they could have brought him back the night after Hell in a Cell. But no, they're ready to bring him back, you know, right after Battlegrounds.
I am curious, though, where is Hell in a Cell located? Like,
I'm not sure. But
I'm starting to think maybe why they even brought him back
something
too.
To look up.
Is it in Boston? Because if it's in Boston, this really doesn't make kind of doesn't make sense why they brought him back.
Yeah.
Then, granted, his reaction in Boston is not the same as like a Punk in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times when he's been in Boston, he's gotten booed.
Yeah.
And I mean vocally booed. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
You can't keep saying Cena's going to be always here. He will always be there to help ratings. Here's the key thing, too. He might come back, and the ratings might not even change. Because like I said earlier, if it's Monday Night Football, and that's what the fans want to watch, that's what they want to watch then. To me, that doesn't reflect one guy. That reflects the product they just don't like at this moment.
Top to bottom, yeah.
Which means, first of all, you can't blame Cena then for the ratings or anything there. But you can't. That means you got to blame the whole product. Which means you got to probably blame Vince or Stephanie or Triple H. Because let's face it, these are the guys that run behind the scenes.
Paul Levesque, if you want to.
Yeah. If you want to be Paul Levesque.
If you want to be technical in that regard, but
you know what I mean. I mean that's what it. Because to me, I don't think especially going after the World Heavyweight title of all things.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I mean, to me, I'm kind of glad because let's face it, the Bryan Orton feud has I think been a decent feud that it should at least end.
Yeah,
and not just throw Cena in and make like a crappy 3-way at the last second. or a triple threat match. But no, but it's just the fact that it's Cena gets the B belt now. Oh,
Yeah.
here's the thing there too. Did you have Cena now main event at pay per view? Because it almost feels like that's what always happens, with a few exceptions.
To me, there's
I mean,
few
yeah,
problems with it.
Yeah.
With this decision. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
well, number one, to me, it's just too soon. Like I don't know if there's a whole lot of reason to bring, because you'd figure he lost the belt at SummerSlam,
Mm-hmm.
And he got hurt. You'd figure, he'd have a viable rematch clause, or a reason, or at least a reason to go back after the WWE Championship. It seems like out of left field that he's coming back early, and they're going to have him go after Alberto Del Rio. We saw this a couple of years ago. I mean, it's nothing we haven't really seen already.
And also, I mean, obviously it looks like Rob Van Dam's now out for his,
which
for 3 months or
which
something.
is another thing we saw coming out of Battleground.
But what does this say about the rest of the roster then? You tell me nobody's going to have to go after the B belt?
People say, and people are saying like, oh, this is going to restore prestige to the World Heavyweight Championship.
But
I'm thinking, not really, because it basically comes off as if, we're going to bring back Cena early because we don't have anybody else who can challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Which I think is crazy. I mean, let's face it. If this is the B belt, there are plenty of B talented athletes on this roster. You could throw Miz in there. We're not saying he's going to win the belt,
right?
Although I keep saying,
I'd rather have Miz win it than Del Rio continue to be championship.
But I mean, hell, Cody Rhodes, I think, has been getting a decent push. Why not?
I'd rather see
the B belt.
I mean, I'd rather even see him be world.
I mean, let's be fair here. I know he wants to probably go to the WWE title because that's the only title that his family, nobody's family's won.
Yeah.
He could easily hype it up as, well, that's what title used to be known as the WCW title. And my father used to hold that belt back in the day. So, I'm going to hold the belt that my daddy held. I mean, so Cody Rhodes makes sense. To me, Sandow, his character is so entertaining. You could easily turn him babyface.
Yeah.
It gets I mean,
it's just going to be a matter of booking him, right?
The whole intellectual savior thing couldn't work as a babyface there. If he's being intellectually, an intellectual douchebag to heels, it can work, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and he does like an intelligence thing to Del Rio, and Del Rio looks like an idiot. Fans are going to laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's,
Yeah.
It's to a heel.
Right.
And, we also how the Alberto face turned out. It just... they tried to push him as the next Rey Mysterio, and it didn't work out well. I don't blame the guy. I think the guy's talented either way. I think there was. I just think that the problem is that he's a natural born heel, and I don't know. It's because of this whole idea that maybe the United States just doesn't like non-American wrestlers now. All of a sudden, I mean, I don't. Which is maybe why the whole Cesaro face turn might not work out either, because the guy's Swiss.
Yeah,
he's not. I mean, somebody even said about the whole Sheamus deal. I mean, the guy's Irish. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I really don't care. They're all talented in the ring. They work their ass off, and to me, you can't be a heel forever and you can't be a babyface forever. You got to switch eventually, because you switch, you get new feuds. If you get new feuds, you maybe find a moneymaker. So I'm fine with people going back and forth there, but once you start running out of ideas for somebody as a heel or a face, then you got to turn them. That
happened with Orton, It's happened with other
Orton's
guys.
supposed to have been begging like the last 2 years.
With a face.
The only, the only
wasn't...
concern was that who was going to be the top babyface on SmackDown then.
Yeah.
People thought about Sheamus, but now there's rumors that when he comes back, he might turn heel now.
And the thing is,
so now my question is, okay, who's
and now once they turned Orton heel, now they've been having Daniel Bryan on SmackDown every week, anyways. Yeah, they've been doing.
That's the thing there too. Is this? Are you now acknowledging that the ratings fall is going to be put on Daniel Bryan's shoulders because he's been pushed? Granted, he's pretty much been getting his ass kicked most of the times he was pushed, but still, he is the quote unquote face of the guy.
People are still in the audience are continuing to chant.
But that's the thing there, Tyler, too. The audience might be excited, but they're looking at the ratings.
Yeah,
because
that's the main thing.
Well, that's what any TV show looks at. If they have any sane.
There's definitely the diehards go to the shows too. I mean,
well, yeah, definitely. But if you and diehards also would watch the show if they were interested in it.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, there's gonna be some people who would probably say, "Well, this is Cena fans' fault. They just stopped watching because he's not on television anymore." And I'm like, well, I don't think you can really say that. I've seen plenty of John Cena little kids in the stands and that.
Yeah.
So to me, and also, I'm pretty sure they watch the product, not because.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure their parents explained to him, Cena is human, he will get hurt,
Yeah.
which means he will be missing action.
Yeah. And he's not getting any younger at this point.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. But it's just like this was your opportunity to finally show, okay, is there anybody that we can say superstar? At this point, there's Daniel Bryan and Cody Rhodes came out maybe looking at someone better out of this whole non-Cena deal. Because the thing, once Cena comes back, it's the John Cena Monday Night Raw show.
Right.
I know Cena keeps said this even makes me more hypocritical here. Even though I don't really blame Cena for him coming back. I blame management in WWE.
Yeah.
But Cena says in a Twitter account that Monday Night Raw has never been a one-person show. It never will be a one-person show.
Yeah.
And now this comes up. And you...
Wow, moron.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost feels like it doesn't go with the Twitter comment, which is why I'm not saying this is Cena's fault here. I think this is management's fault. And this is also maybe Vince getting impatient, which is I think the one problem with having a 70-something-year-old man still run a company.
Yeah.
Because you do eventually lose touch of reality, Tyler, and there's been rumors that he's lost touch for a long time.
Right.
He's lost touch of what the audience wants, what the product has turned into.
Yeah.
I mean, for a while, he never wanted to see WWE promote social media. Even though everybody in the company said, well, Vince, it's a new hip thing now. I don't care. I don't like it. Okay, because a 70-year-old man doesn't like social media, and he runs a company that's geared towards young people, I might add here. Let's say about it here. Professional wrestling is geared towards young people, especially in a PG product now.
Yeah.
So let's go with what the kids want.
Yeah. Yeah, they can use it. Just don't overkill it.
Well, that's the worst thing. That's the thing.
Sometimes that takes,
But to be fair, though, every TV show has a hashtag something show that I've watched on television. It's not just like a WWE thing. WWE's the one that does a stupid trending every 10.
Yeah.
You know, this is trending right now.
It was a little. They were at one point. You know, maybe.
But every show has a hashtag Twitter account now. When you watch a new episode, I mean, like even like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, we're going to go up and we're going to say hashtag Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or hashtag Coulson's Lives or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, so every show does it. So I don't blame them there because it is a television show and they should be doing what other TV shows do as far as maybe advertising or promoting their show. That's common sense.
Yeah,
you go with the times, but at the same time, there has to be a time here, and this is where I really hope shareholders finally start waking up and saying maybe it's time for a changing of the guard.
Yeah,
I know Vince keeps saying he wants to have a job till he dies. Based on how great our healthcare system is in this country here, that he might be to 100, be in a wheelchair, be completely incompetent, Tyler, and still be making decisions for this company possibly. Yeah. I don't want to see that happen. And of course, if that happens, every choice would be like in his 60s or 70s at this point here, which means he'll be old and incompetent. Yeah. I mean, Vince used to understand the grasp, I think, what people wanted, and now I'm starting to think that it's a whole. He's now this grumpy old man now.
Yeah,
this is how never met the man in real life. I'm not trying to judge him based on his character that he plays, which I know is an extreme version of himself.
Yeah,
just like any other character that gets played on television. But my opinion of it is that every time a rating goes south, he believes that a quick fix will fix it because that's how we used to be back in the day. Ratings go down. Oh, well, we just had to have Steve Austin do this. Ratings will go back up. And as that's happening, he's starting to, he gets flustered. And when he gets frustrated, he's just making stupid decisions as far as taking belts off of people, putting it back on somebody else, not giving anybody a chance.
Not using certain people,
But I guess back to my point here is I really feel like this is almost saying a message to the locker room right now that there is nobody that's the next John Cena right now.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to find it in 4 months or 6 months because God knows how long it took them to find Stone Cold Steve Austin and to push him as a top guy. It took a while. I mean, Austin started the company, Tyler, in 96, and he was at the Texas Rattlesnake when he came in. He was the ringmaster for a couple of months. Hell of a couple months, he was barely promoted. I mean, when Chris Jericho came in, the excellent debut, you watch the first couple of Raws after his debut, hardly on television.
Yeah.
And Jericho says he even wondered, did they piss somebody off already? I mean, because here's his massive debut, standing ovation, fans are happy to see me. You would have thought, okay, we got to have this guy on every night. And he wasn't on every Monday night.
Right.
He was off for a while.
Yeah.
To the point where he pretty much said, I'm probably going to get fired soon. I probably should just stay in WCW. Because I might get buried there, but at least I'm on my night show every night.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God they finally used him. But, I mean, I feel like this is a lot of impatience now.
Yeah.
To me, this was their best opportunity to finally scout what they have.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and if the conclusion is, we got nothing right now, fine. Then, to me, that means you got to figure out some way, though. Because everybody should know once Cena comes back, it's the John Cena show now. Whether Cena wants to admit it or not, that's what the show's going to be.
It'll be interesting though in the World Heavyweight Championship picture. He'd have to be on SmackDown every week. Or whatever.
I don't know. I mean, but here's the thing too. Okay, he beats Del Rio. Who does John face now?
Yeah, exactly. Some people
because I just said nobody's in Alberto's league right now to face the world title now. Okay,
yeah, apparently.
So now John Cena, who is above Alberto Del Rio,
yeah,
based on promotion and so on here. Okay, so besides obviously a Del Rio rematch that would happen, I guess, at Survivor Series, who else is there?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Wyatt family's getting pushed, but
somebody suggested.
Yeah.
I saw in a post that Cena beats Del Rio, but then Sandow cashes in on Cena.
Well,
can you imagine how big that would be?
That would be a big win for Sandow.
And then
actually,
I think they also suggested that then Cena takes more time off after that.
Well, actually, somebody said that too. What if this is a one-time deal? What if Cena does a storyline injury here where he gets hurt?
Yeah.
Sandow wins, and it kind of re-aggravates an injury just in storyline, and we don't see him until the Royal Rumble, which is what I originally thought was going to be when we finally would see John Cena.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think you got to wear Hell in a Cell because we're telling you in Boston, it just makes so much sense then.
Yeah.
They want to have the hometown boy come in for one night. He doesn't win the belt, or he does win the belt, but he gets hurt that night.
Yeah.
And that's the point that I got to apologize to WWE and WWE management because I think it may be a brilliant move then. Because now you just made Damien Sandow a superstar pretty much. Because now he can say, I didn't just win the world title. I pinned the guy to become the world champion.
Yeah. Yeah. And
granted, he can, hurt, but let's face it, every Money in the Bank winner's done that. But, that can even set up a feud possibly.
And depending where Hell in a Cell is, Sandow could get a massive ovation from that too. I mean,
well, if it's in Boston, mixed probably.
Mixed. But if it was like somewhere that, like historically has been hating on Cena, or they've been booing Cena out of the building, that could be huge.
Yeah, I mean,
like the night after WrestleMania when, Ryback destroyed Cena and everybody was cheering for Ryback.
Well, to me, that's always going to be the best Raw because that's when you have all the hardcore fans.
And then Ziggler cashed in and huge reception and he was a heel.
Yeah.
It just goes to show. And then, yeah. And now,
well, I keep saying that the reason why he got a standing ovation is because, like I said, here's a guy that was at one point a caddy for Chavo Guerrero when he did his I don't know, white golfer gimmick. I guess Chavo Guerrero pretty much did. And then a member of the Spirit Squad, and not even a prominent member of the Spirit Squad either.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to look up who the hell he was in the Spirit Squad because he wasn't Kenny, the leader. He wasn't Mikey, he wasn't Johnny.
Was it Nikki? Was it?
Yeah, Nikki.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is like, the fourth guy in like the song. Because the song they always say their name.
Kenny, yeah.
Kenny.
I remember.
I mean, he was just there to be there. I mean, he wasn't like he was a main member of the team.
Right.
But he goes through that, and he even said, like, okay, this is it. Because let's face it, they had matches against Triple H, Shawn Michaels, although burial matches, but still, you're wrestling two legends.
Two legends, yeah.
And then you had a feud with Ric Flair, the Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And plus, other legends, because they had that Survivor Series match against Dusty Rhodes, Sergeant Slaughter, Arn Anderson, Rowdy Piper. In fact, they even lost the belts to Piper. So, I mean, like, it's like what he said earlier there. He says, look, if this is how it's going to go out for me, fine. I got you. It's the Wrestle Hall of Famers. And then they come to this whole idea of we're going to give you a new gimmick in that, but we need a name. And we want to give you like 30. And Dolph says, okay, give me 30 minutes to come up with a name. And he thought like Dolph, the first one he just said the name Dolph. He didn't know where to go with there, but he just figured, okay, Dolph. And he was thinking of Dolph Lundgren or something.
Dolph Lundgren, from Rocky 4.
An Expendable was in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say a badass. Because he says, okay, people gotta think about that. And he tells him the name, Dolph, but I don't know what to throw in there. Just Dolph. He said, well, Dolph just sounds too plain right now, but Ziggler. And it kind of like froze for a second because he's like, Dolph Ziggler? Because, I mean, hell, when he first came out back in the day, I remember John Morrison went and called him Mr. Ziggles.
Yeah.
So they made fun of his last name for crying out loud. And his whole gimmick was, I mean, hell, his first appearance was he shook Dave Bautista's hand. He said, "Hi, I'm Dolph Ziggler," and that was his gimmick.
Yeah.
And then, in the very soon, I think he started adding, and very soon, I think it was his feud against Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Belt, where they finally fans started saying, "Damn, this guy can wrestle. I mean, this guy can actually do some pretty sick spots in that." I think after that, that's when they finally, like, I think most fans finally said, "Oh, look, this guy really can work his ass off and get going." And I think when he finally won the world title, it finally was his whole idea of, because for me, that was the first time I really felt like I watched a guy work from his way from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
And I saw almost every match in his career. And, for me, I felt good for that because I know he busted his ass off to get to that belt. Yeah. Which is why I really am pissed off the fact that he barely had a reign to begin with. But I think that's why he got a standing ovation there. It's because, I think most fans realize this guy worked his ass off. He was nothing for most of his career. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he finally strikes lightning, and now, he finally wins the belt. So. Yeah.
Yeah, and now here we sit, and, I mean, Ziggler's stocks, I don't know. It's been falling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened there. Like I said, I keep hearing rumors of there was an interview out in Los Angeles on some weekend that officials didn't like him handling it. But at the same time there, you got Ziggler also saying in interviews there, like saying, look, no, he wants to be the top guy.
Yeah, I mean,
but thinking a lot of guys.
I
keep hearing CM Punk saying, because people ask him, how does he feel to be in these main matches at WrestleMania? He says, I was never in the main match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's like, he says, I was on the third to last, but that's not the main match. Yeah. Rock Cena were the main matches the last 2 years. The
last couple of years, yeah.
Punk keeps saying his goal is to main event WrestleMania, as in close the show. And as everybody keeps, even if Mustard said one time, it's not going to happen. As long as Cena's healthy, and he's promoted as the guy, Cena will close every WrestleMania probably.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate.
That or Triple H will close WrestleMania. Yeah. It will never end with CM Punk. Even if he can get and they're wrong, that Undertaker feud, believe it or not, closed at least Monday Night Raw. Yeah. Which even made me start thinking, how this match would actually close WrestleMania. Because now even I think officially even acknowledge this match is way more exciting than even the Rock Cena one.
Yeah. Especially the second one. The second one was because everybody knew where it was going to.
Well, it wasn't just that. I mean, they both come out and they do promos, but not face to face. The face to face thing that they did to end Raw the week before, that's how they should have ended that Raw, the Raw before Mania. A face to face of all those Legend panel, because all it was Rock came out, cut a promo, went back. Cena comes out, cuts a promo, uninterrupted. So they just said the final say in it.
Yeah.
You need to have a face to face in a feud like that.
Yeah.
And, have that happen. Have Rock beat Cena. Have Cena have that look of, oh, crap, can I even beat this guy, period?
Yeah.
Because that way at least you have this whole idea of coming into Mania. Can Cena do it? And, of course, Cena did it. And now there's even questions if Rock might be finally done, too. Yeah. But no, you hear Punk, he doesn't acknowledge the fact that he was in a main match. He says he never was in the main match.
The main, yeah.
Yeah,
the singular. And not Punk, a main match.
Exactly. And Punk pretty much said, look, that should be everybody's goal in the roster, to be in the main event.
Yeah.
The final
show. Closer of the show of the year.
And as one person said it there, the fact that The Miz was in a main event.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, can you believe it? And it was against John Cena.
Yeah.
With The Rock, interfering.
Although as somebody said, and I have to agree, looking back at this match, this easily was one of the worst built matches in Mania.
Yeah.
Because to me, Miz, the whole idea was, Miz won because The Rock helped out.
Yeah, exactly.
And it had nothing to do with really the Miz's belt anyway. It was all about building up Rock Cena for WrestleMania 28.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with Miz or the belt. It was Rock Cena.
Yeah.
But actually, that's what even Punk said there. So Punk even said in an interview, he says he's pissed off the fact that Miz actually closed the Mania. And he's never closed the Mania.
Yeah.
He looks at himself as a better worker and talent than Miz does. And they actually asked Miz about that, and he says, I'm not going to get mad at the guy. He's doing what I would say in pretty much any interview. He says everybody is going in the roster should be they want to end Mania.
Yeah.
They should just say, "Oh, it's going to go to Cena anyway." No, it should be screw Cena. I worked my ass off too.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but at least you got to have that mentality of because
Right.
if you just give up and admit the fact that you're not going to be a main eventer,
It's not going to change anything.
you know, don't come to work every day. Then.
And then plus, I mean, Cena's not going to be around forever, you know. So that
But which is the reason
when Cena's gone, he might be that
Cody's still in
guy.
his 20s.
Yeah.
I think people realize how
He's
young
young.
Cody is compared to a Punk, a Cena, a Orton even.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's still in his mid 20s,
yeah.
Tyler.
Cena, yeah,
Which is like the perfect age to push a young
Cena's
talent.
30. Yeah, Cena's 36 now.
And like I said,
So,
based on all the logic I've seen, Vince has never pushed anybody 40 and over as a main event guy,
yeah.
as the guy.
Right. Yeah.
Now, you'll always make exceptions sometimes because
Yeah.
I also would say that
Some
this roster's have been as thin as it has now.
Yeah.
But it's not. But at the same time, I think it's in better shape than like a TNA locker room is right now,
Yeah.
as far as talent and
yeah.
name variety now. But they have to give these guys a shot. And
Yeah.
I feel like 2 months is almost. Like I said, unless they go with the idea that you're going with, which I think would be a brilliant idea, at least putting Sendao over, and maybe bringing back some prestige to the world title at the same time.
Yeah.
Because Sendao,
Make it interesting.
Yeah, it would
at
make it
least.
interesting. Yeah.
It hasn't been interesting.
Well, no, especially after watching two, pretty much Monday Night Raws, but you had to pay $50 to go watch them.
Yeah.
Which brings up to this whole point here too. If WWE wants to do this, if all they care about is really 4 pay-per-views each year, as main pay-per-views, as we will promote them and advertise them and that, fine. Then I think it's time to go back to the in-your-house strategy and make these pay-per-view, these non-important pay-per-views 2 hours long, not 3 hours, 2 hours, and cut the price in half to like $25 then.
Just like some people suggest Raw could go back to 2 hours because it
Well,
seems like there's.
I'm going to be fair. That's probably never going to happen because they are making
Yeah,
a lot they're making a lot of advertising. by doing this,
it's kind of hard to turn back, but definitely the content often suffers.
But no, but I think look, do what they did back in the day. Pretty much made these in-house pay-per-views. Only have like 5 matches, 2 hours long, $25. That way, even if you have a finish like this, who cares? You just wasted $25. It looks like you wasted $50.
Yeah.
People want to watch pay-per-views to see an end to something, or at least an ending to a match at least. And a lot of people felt like, well, first of all, we have a ending to a one pay-per-view match that gets reversed the next night, and then we get a no finish, which doesn't even sort out the ending to the last match.
Right.
So I mean, that being said, do I think some people have a right to ask for a refund? I don't, because I think they should really knew what they were signing up for.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that Battleground was getting hyped up as a cash grab.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. This was not being built as a once-in-a-lifetime pay-per-view. It was just built up as, okay, Hell in a Cell Battle People was 3 weeks away after this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And these are the matches we might be throwing out, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was obvious it was going to be like a stepping stone pay-per-view, a springboard to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're trying to, I think, push the idea of Hell in a Cell here being a big deal, a big match between Orton and Daniel Bryan, of course, and this and that. So, yeah, I mean, everybody knew where they were going with it. So, yeah. So I guess that'll conclude things here then for the Great Wrestling Debate today. Yeah, I mean, Hell in a Cell will be here before we know it.
It's actually 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away, pretty much.
Yeah, by next week's Raw, I mean, we'll only have another Raw after that, and then.
I mean, for me, like I said, I'm not expecting to see it on television until Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Which means that we was going to be doing a lot of solo promos, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? You never know.
Which is, which I'm not going to complain about. I mean, there's been plenty of guys who've done it in the past, too. Yeah. Where you have a talent return at the pay-per-view, and the other guy has to, promote the guy's return pretty much, as saying he's not going to do jack against me and so on, but odds are DeWeel's losing, because usually when a guy talent returns on a pay-per-view, especially for the belt, they're winning the belt that night, because what the hell is the point of having return then? And then there's, once again, if Cena wins it,
there's
a few more reigns closer to passing Ric Flair then. Although if you ask Ric Flair, it's like 27 title reigns. But WWE only acknowledges 16 of them. And since in Vince's world, only WWE history actually matters now.
Yeah.
I guess you have to say if he gets to 17, then Cena's the all-time world champion leader now.
Leader. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, it'll to me, the only interesting part of that match is going to be, does Sandow cash in and
Finally.
Cena? That's
I mean,
all I
because
can
like I
think of.
said, at the Hell in a Cell title, it's just Survivor Series, TLC, and then we're at Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
which is already the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because they got just the Bowman Road in the Women's Chamber, and then next it's like 6 months.
Right.
It's like a week and a half promotion for WrestleMania. Then WrestleMania gets the longest promotion between Raws and
Right.
that, which is
Yeah.
why I think they can set matches so easily, even if they just
Yeah.
put something randomly together. You have weeks to build up a pay per view. You're gonna have time. Even SummerSlam, you had about like 5 weeks to build up those matches.
Yeah.
And based on the hype, I enjoyed the 2 matches. Just
Yeah.
because I think they gave me a damn to even watch
The
them.
the two
Yeah.
main matches were
Although,
nicely
and this
done.
one's good. This might be another reason too. SummerSlam did lower than it did last year, despite the hype of these 2 matches, and despite the fact that I considered SummerSlam to be a success, even more success than last year's pay per view. But according to the buy rates, it was a failure compared to last year's one.
Yeah.
Which, of course, like I said, Brock Lesnar and Triple H, the bore fest that match was, and now you have these 2 exciting matches, and they couldn't get enough people to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how the buy rate does for Hell in a Cell. Certainly.
I'm curious how well Battleground is.
I wonder how, because I think the consensus was that it wasn't.
It wasn't worth.
People weren't looking forward to it.
It wasn't worth $50 or something.
Yeah.
It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it might not have been worth $10. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I was more than happy to skip it, and then Raw the next night. I mean, you had a few rematches, anyways, and yeah, hopefully it seems like they've been doing that nights after pay-per-views lately too. I mean, they could get out of that habit and maybe figure out where to go with different guys. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens on SmackDown. I mean, SmackDown, I haven't had any major complaints about. Bigger expectations for Raw, and they don't always meet, but we'll see what happens, I guess, on SmackDown and then Raw coming up next week, and talk about it here in the Great Wrestling Debate. So thanks for tuning in as always.